So, in this video, I'm going to talk about how I went from feminist, atheist, liberal to a reactionary. And this happened for me in a relatively short period of time. When I've heard other people talking about how they went through this process, for most of them, it seemed like it took years. It was a gradual process. There wasn't this moment of where they saw the light, so to say, whereas that kind of did happen to me. But anyway, I'll get to how it happened. I've always been skeptical and rebellious, I guess. When I was 18, I was really into Richard Dawkins and like Reddit, atheism, that type of thing. I thought I was so intelligent, and I knew that it was so stupid for people to believe in God. And how do they believe in these fairy stories? And that's just ridiculous. And I guess that might have something to do with I was raised religious. Well, not really. I was raised going to a synagogue a lot, and I had to go to Hebrew school. And it was this thing that was sort of forced on me by my parents. And I really resented it for a long time because it kind of just felt like this social thing. I didn't really learn anything from it. I just basically thought it was a big waste of time. I didn't like that it was like this exclusive club and these people think that they're so special and that type of thing. So I sort of dissociated myself from any religion for a while, and I was like militantly anti-religious, anti-theist, and I was really annoying about it probably. But I kind of got over that. I got bored with it because it's like when you're an atheist, you're united in what you don't believe in. How far can you go with that? There's only so much you can say about that. And so I kind of got over that, and I guess I was sort of agnostic at that point. I kind of forgot about it for a few years. A few years after that, I think I got really into feminism, but it wasn't like this Jezebel style feminism that we see everywhere now, like this militant, crazy stuff. Because I don't really remember that being a huge thing even 5 years ago. That seems like something that's really come to fruition like the past 2 to 3 years. But I consider myself feminist, and I wanted full equality, and I was always focusing on things like, oh, like why aren't there more women in music, and why aren't there more female directors? And I thought it was just this big conspiracy against women, that men had been conspiring against women to keep them out of these things, and they hadn't been encouraged enough to do this, and just all of this stuff. And I thought, well, we have to change that. I guess there was this turning point for me. I think there was this moment I was out to dinner with my family, and they were talking about one of my female cousins who majored in accounting. And I think someone said, oh, well, that's really unusual because girls don't usually do that. They're not really mathematically inclined. They're usually more verbally inclined. And that just made me so angry. I think it was specifically because math was my best subject, and which is, I guess, well, I don't think that's necessarily unusual completely, but I couldn't think in this like vague general sense. I could only think in these absolutes, and I just thought them saying that was so oppressive. And I was like, this is the reason why girls aren't more in the STEM fields, and it's because of people like you telling them that they're not good enough. And this was my justification, and it made me really, really upset. And I walked out of the dinner, which is incredibly embarrassing now because obviously they didn't mean anything vicious like that. And I just completely took it personally. I was crying. It was totally at 100% irrational. And I went home and I looked up, like on Wikipedia or something, if this was true, if they had done testing, because I've always been a fairly objective person. I'm not just going to completely dismiss it. I wanted to see if it was true or not. And it turns out that it was true. And I just couldn't, I couldn't believe that. I said, no, there's no way this is true, that women always do worse in math and are better verbally. I just didn't think that, because that's not the way I was raised. I was raised to think that we all could do everything. Girls can do anything just as well as men, better. We're all exactly the same. Our brains work exactly the same. That was the way I was raised. That was what I was taught. That was what I based so much of my time thinking on. That was my whole philosophy. And I couldn't handle that cognitive dissonance, that what I had based all of my thoughts on might not be true. And I kind of just put that fact and that thought away for a while, and just stored it away and didn't think about it for a while. Maybe a year, maybe even just a few months later after that, I was traveling with friends, and I was with this girl who is kind of one of these like self-hating white people, like really intense about it. Like I don't know, it was just that type of thing is weird. I hadn't encountered that in real life very much, and I just thought it was kind of strange. And there was one time where we were on a trip. We were in like Baltimore in some slum, and this black guy comes up to the car and starts saying, "Oh, look at all these bitches here, like, you guys, like, so cool." And this girl is like, "Oh, hi, like, how are you?" And I'm sitting there amazed. How do you let someone call you a bitch and you think this guy is trying to be your friend? It made me so angry, and I couldn't handle that type of thing. Basically, this girl claims that she hates white people, she loves black people. She just had to go so far out of her way to prove it, to the point of absolute ridiculousness. And everyone else knew that this guy is a creep, and why are you pretending like this guy is your buddy? It was just unbelievable to me. Basically, like, I was talking to a friend about this, and he said, yeah, they think they're going to be their little pet or something. I don't even think they say they see them as equal, but I don't even think that they do. I think they see them as their little pet, their little plaything. And I couldn't handle that. It really, really bothered me. The next big thing, the big event I remember that was a big turning point for me, was when Brendan Eich, the founder of Mozilla, got fired because he donated $100 to a Proposition 8 campaign 5 years earlier. He had just become the CEO, and as soon as someone found out, they just ousted him. It was this huge deal, and I couldn't believe that. I supported gay marriage at the time, or I probably wasn't even thinking about it that much, to be honest, but I thought it was really weird that all of a sudden the other side, no, you can't have that opinion. And if you do, we're going to oust you from your job, even though you invented JavaScript, this programming language that is used on basically every website in existence today. I thought that was unbelievable. I thought that was so intolerant, and it made me so angry. And I read an article about it. It was called "The Culture of Shut Up." It was actually like in some lefty magazine. I can't remember if it was the New Yorker or something. And it was written by one of Obama's speechwriters. And it was basically saying that we should listen to people. We shouldn't make them shut up because that is dangerous. It was basically an article trying to point out this is censorship, this is wrong. I posted that on Facebook, and I got all this backlash for it. And that was just unbelievable to me. I couldn't imagine how people could defend a point like that. I didn't even agree with the guy. I thought gay marriage was great, but I just thought it was unbelievable that this guy would get ousted for his job just for having a contradictory opinion to some other people. I just thought that was unacceptable. And it was really amazing to me that people I was friends with, people that I thought I had things in common with, would defend that, would defend what amounted to censorship. And that was like a big awakening for me. I just knew there's something weird here. There's something fishy. Why would you, how on earth would you defend that? And it reminds me when Jared Taylor is telling a story about what made him sort of change his mind about things. He had a similar occurrence happen to him. He was in college at Yale or something. This was in the 60s. And Arthur Jensen, who was one of they call him the founding father of race realism, came to speak on campus. And there was all this protest and whatever. And Jared said he was going to go, but he was going to object. And he thought, yeah, whatever, like, I'll go see this guy speak. Why not? Even though he's totally probably disgusting and whatever. Like, this is the bad guy. And he said that what happened was the lefty students at Yale made it so the guy couldn't come at all. And he said, wait, there's something fishy here. Why are they shutting him down? I thought these people were about freedom and free speech. And why are they so scared of what this guy has to say? Even if they disagree with him, why wouldn't you just listen? What are you so afraid of? And he said that was a really big moment for him where he realized there was something fishy here. And I think this is a big thing for a lot of people. Because when I think of the word liberal, I think freedom and we do whatever we want, and everything's going to be all right and groovy. But no, it's not that. It's you will conform to what we say, and any objection is shut down. We don't allow that.